BOCES stands for Board of Cooperative Education Services. Only two states I know have them are Colorado and New York. And the concept is, and I'm sure there are a lot of other things like it around the country, the concept is small rural districts that can't really provide their own services for special education.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Brighter Together podcast. My special guest today is George Welsh. George is the Executive Director of San Luis Valley BOCES, and that it is currently in Alamosa, Colorado. George, thank you for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me, Janet.
So the first question I'm going to ask you is, what is BOCES?
Yeah, BOCES stands for Board of Cooperative Education Services. Only two states I know have them are Colorado and New York. And the concept is, and I'm sure there are a lot of other things like it around the country, the concept is small rural districts that can't really provide their own services for special education, such as providing a school psychologist, bind together in a region and form a Board of Cooperative Education Services. This all came about as a result of the passage of the IDEA law back in the, I think it was 1960s. And in fact, the San Luis Valley BOCES is the very first BOCES in the state of Colorado. So it's the first and the oldest.
Neat. And I've been there, and it was lovely. We were there this summer, and we got to have lunch with some of your crew, and it was awesome. So tell me, George, a little bit about you, and then give us a little bird's eye view of kind of what goes on at San Luis Valley BOCES.
Sure. My journey to where I am right now, I taught 9 years in Arizona. I grew up in Tucson, Arizona, as a matter of fact. Came to Colorado in 1996 as a middle high principal in the school district center, which is part of the San Luis Valley BOCES. In 1997, I became superintendent of schools in center, stayed there for 18 years in that position, moved to Canyon City, Colorado in 2015, served as superintendent of schools in Canyon City for 7 years, retired and wasn't very good at it. A few years back, some folks from the San Luis Valley, who I've still got pretty good history with, reached out and asked if I'd be interested in doing this job, and so I've been filling this role for 2 years now. I think all told is 38 years in education, maybe 30.
Nice. Yeah. You've got about 7-8 years on me. I've been a speech pathologist since 94. So 30. Mm-hmm. Well, now it's I guess it's 32 years. Oh, yeah.
Since the Clinton administration.
Yes,
right?
Since the Clinton administration.
People
since before the
superintendent when Clinton was president.
Yeah. I always measure by like before when I graduated with my master's, I went to Purdue University, and there was no internet, there was no Google, we didn't have any of those things. And I remember because when you're a speech therapist, you do a clinical fellowship year, they call it a CFY. And I remember my first job as a CFY, my supervisor at the time said, "Hey, have you heard of this thing that's called the internet?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, so that's the one thing that I really remember is like, that was like the birth. And I remember the first time I went on the internet, because I was looking for stuff related to speech therapy. And I was like, this is dumb. There's nothing on there.
No.
Now, right? Yeah. Now we've got AI. So there you go. So you and I are a couple of the old schoolers, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. You didn't know that about me, huh?
Didn't.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about what do you guys do there? I know you said you help districts and to provide special education services. So what does that look like in like the day-to-day of how you guys operate?
Yeah, that's a great question. Our primary role is providing special education services. We do more, and would be glad to talk a little bit about what that more is. But once again, a school district of 200 kids, 300 kids, they don't have the capacity to hire a school psychologist, a speech-language pathologist, an occupational therapist, a physical therapist, a hearing specialist, so on and on and on. And so we provide that for the San Luis Valley, and that means we're very deeply involved in the process of identification for services and then providing services, as we call it, in an itinerant fashion. Each school district still has the responsibility of having a special education teacher to handle the less severe cases, you know. And so there's a little bit of give and take as to what we provide for the school districts. Our funding model, by the way, is we receive special education dollars from the state, we receive federal special education dollars, and then we have an assessment for each district that helps support our operations for special education as well.
Yeah, yeah. And kids that parents live in really rural areas don't have to drive their child to a different district just to get services, because you guys have the opportunity to provide those within their home district, correct?
To a great extent. Our severe needs programs are center-based, and so some kids might have to do a 15-mile commute to get access to such services. There are some places where it's not offered in school districts.
Well, and that's but it's not all of them. It's not every single child, which is, and I understand that it's similar. In when I lived in near Jackson, Michigan for 19 years, and an intermediate school district, an ISD, similar to what you guys are, and all of the they all had special needs classes in them, where the children that were in the county that wheelchair bound, severely impaired, severely autistic, those kids that just needed a one-on-one, had medically fragile, all of those kinds of kids would go to that center to get services. Yeah.
And we've got
similar. Yeah.
I think altogether 6 center-based programs for severe needs. We have a center-based program for the Valley for students with significant emotional disabilities. And then we even have a transition program for the more adult kids, 19 through 21, severe needs students, to help them transition into adulthood. So. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
but
awesome.
If a kid needs speech services, we deliver it in their school district. Boy, San Luis Valley geography is at least as big as Connecticut. You know, it's several states probably we're pretty close to in size.
Wow.
14 school districts, by the way.
14. How many kids total?
So total kids in the San Luis Valley are 7,500. We serve about 1,200 special education.
Yeah, it's a lot of kids. It's a lot of kids. And is it pre-K through 12th grade, or is it start at kindergarten?
Yeah, we do pre-K services as well. We identify through Child Find students with needs in various ways, and then we provide services, physical, occupational, speech services in their preschool programs if necessary.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. That's really awesome. I love that. And you have some really great news about what's happening with your offices. You shared a little bit with me at the beginning of the show. That's why I said, for now, you're in Alamosa. What's happening there?
Yeah, Colorado has this wonderful program called Building Excellent Schools Today, and you can apply for grants to support construction projects. Our building that we use for the San Luis Valley BOCES, we've used, I think, since the early 1970s. I would, if you've been there, you've seen it.
I've been there. Yeah, I was there. Yeah, it is.
Mid-century modern, right? Yeah. With the wood grain paneling and carpet that's probably
narrow hallways
and everyone in my family, on and on. And so, needing a new facility, we applied for a grant that helped us purchase an old Forest Service facility in Monte Vista, which is 15 miles away to the west. So still pretty close to the center of our service area. And what's really nice about it is our foundations program, which is for students with significant emotional disabilities, and our our transitions program, which is that students 19th to 21 services. We're going to have wonderful state-of-the-art classroom space there, and a major upgrade in our office space, and a really major upgrade in our boardroom, because as an organization we have a 14-member board, one board member from each school district
Oh, that makes sense.
serves on our board, and we have a superintendent advisory council, one superintendent or the superintendent of each school district in our service area. They meet as the SAC, Superintendent Advisory Council, on a monthly basis to advise us on our work.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. So they have a pulse on what you guys are doing. They're helping to pay the bill, so they want to know kind of know what you guys are doing. Yeah,
In fact, they set our goals each year in an annual retreat.
Nice. Very cool. Very, very cool. So you have all of these services. So how many employees do you guys have at San Luis Valley BOCES, as far as covering everything that you do? Because you're the executive director, so you got to have some people under you. I know some of the people that are under you, but yeah.
We bounce between 100 and 120 employees, as folks who work in special education know. What we need is dictated by what services we're providing. Have everything from classified, non-certified folks who serve as paraprofessionals.
Yeah.
One of a paraprofessional role when we work with an organization like Lighthouse, where we receive service providers digitally. We have someone who goes to the school in person to support that digital service provider. But we also have preschool special education teachers. We have teachers who work in our severe needs program and in our with significant emotional disability programs. Then we have school psychs, some in-person speech language pathologists, some not, some in-person occupational therapists, some not, all the way down the line.
Yeah. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of people to keep track of, for sure.
Yeah.
Because they're all over too. You've got them, so they don't all necessarily live right there. I mean, I'm assuming you've got people in all different parts of the
For example, we have severe needs programs in Monte Vista, in La Jara, in Alamosa, in Center, and sometimes it's best to hire a paraprofessional to support that program who lives in that community. It's wonderful if you can hire a teacher to support that program who lives in that community. Not always possible. Some folks have to commute, but yeah, we've got them spread out all over the place.
One thing I often hear from school leaders is, I just want a partner who puts students first. At Lighthouse Therapy, that's exactly what we do. We don't have outside investors, and we don't answer to shareholders. Instead, we answer to school leaders like you, those listening to this podcast. Whether you're wanting virtual, hybrid, or in-person therapy, our systems are designed to make your life easier and your team stronger. We are a therapy company run by therapists for the betterment of students. Visit lighthouse-therapy.com/brighter together to learn how we can help you support your students this year. Yeah, for sure. I get it. I totally get it. Yeah, it's a challenge every year, and it's always a shifting target, right? It's because you do based on what the needs of the kids that you have. So you have lots of experience doing this and being a superintendent and being, as long as you've been in education. I'd love to get your insight on how do you see education changing, and what kinds of things have you seen you're seeing now that you wouldn't have seen at the beginning of your career? Because there is so much knowledge that, you and I, having done what we've done as long as we do, I'd love to just pick your brain just a little bit about that, because I think people need to, the younger generation who are amazing, need to know that it wasn't always this way, right?
Yeah, Janet, maybe you can help me recall what the catchphrase was for federal programs during the Clinton administration, but I have a recollection that a big focus was class size reduction, and then under the second Bush administration, No Child Left Behind.
Yeah, No Child Left Behind.
And then under Obama, it was Race to the Top, and I don't even know what the current catchphrase.
I know he's bringing back the because we did that when we were kids. Was the I don't know what the name of it is either, but the fitness tests that we took. How many push-ups and pull-ups, and how far, how long does it take you to run a mile or a half a mile or whatever it is. I was never. I got little girl arms. I was never able to do. I was lucky if I did one pull-up. I could do push-ups and I could do sit-ups, but those pull-ups, those are the boys' job, not mine.
Yeah. But out of No Child Left Behind, though, I feel like a major focus was preparing every kid for college in some way. And that's how states ultimately built these accreditation models. Colorado has one. Districts get a school performance framework. Get a district performance framework, and schools get a school performance framework, DPF for district, SPF for schools. Gotcha. And that still impacts whether you're on the watch clock for accreditation in Colorado, how ultimately your students are performing on standardized tests. And at the high school, that means ultimately SAT or PSAT. What do I think's really happening right now? I think people have woken up to the fact that not every kid wants to be or needs to be college bound. Some want to be career ready. And I feel like there's been pretty strong movement in the past 5 or 6 years to offer young men and women an opportunity to explore careers. We call it career-connected learning, where, maybe you want to be a doctor, and so that's going to require college. Maybe you want to be a CNA, and so that really requires, at most, community college and certification. Maybe you want to be a welder, but maybe you want to be an engineer. And so I'm excited about that. I'm excited that we're trying to create workforce, and we're trying to create opportunities for students to leave high school and maybe experience a little bit more trade school or college, or go right into a career at this point, which I think is outstanding. And so, and in fact, in Colorado, accreditation at the high school level is starting to show that and any opportunities like industry certification, earning that you provide students is something that counts favorably toward your accreditation at the high school level. Yeah. And because of that, Janet, we have this whole other wing of the San Luis Valley BOCES right now, where we're trying to broker collaboration between school districts, and we're trying to expand workplace learning opportunities for students.
Local businesses,
intern apprentice opportunities, concurrent enrollment, which is that gear toward getting a kid ready for and even earning college credit while in high school. But it's also about earning industry certification so you can go right into a job market. You could be a mechanic, you could be a welder, you could be a builder, you can work in certain business platforms, you can work in certain medical platforms. We even just got an innovation grant where we're going to share out a aviation program that one of our schools has, and now it's going to be available to all schools in the San Luis Valley because of the work we've been doing to make sure that that opportunity is expanded to others, to more students.
Congratulations, that's fantastic. I'll tell you the beauty of what I've seen, and I love the fact that we're talking about this because, you and I, we understand special education and IDEA, Individual with Disability Education Act. That's the federal law I'm preaching to the choir here, but that drives special education. You and I know that. And so an IEP, an individualized education plan, but what I'm seeing is that's not all just special education anymore. I really am seeing exactly what you're talking about, where we're looking at an individualized education plan for every student, really looking at what makes you tick. You don't have to go to college if you don't want to go to college, and good grief, it's expensive. So don't waste that money. There's nothing worse than getting a year and a half and you don't get a degree, and now you still got a year and a half of student loans to pay back, and you're not making any more money than you were before.
Right.
So helping them to understand. I mean, I didn't know. I was 17 when I graduated from high school, and I went to college for a year. I quit for a year. I went back part-time for a year, and then I finally, once I got a little bit older, figured out what I wanted to do. But I didn't graduate with my degree until I was 26 years old, and that was my master's. As a speech pathologist, you have to have your master's, and I love the fact that there are absolutely programs to get you to that. You have to have a degree to be a speech pathologist. You have to have a degree to do what you're doing. To be an executive director, there's an admin degree and certifications and all of that as well. But there are people that make more than we do as welders. I mean, I live we're in the oil fields here. Those guys, especially those ones that go out on those rigs, it's so dangerous, but they make so much money because they have such a dangerous job, but they're doing it because that's what they want to do, or that's what they know,
And
that
AI
doesn't take
hadn't
a college
caught up to
education.
taking that away as well. There's many of these career opportunities that exist are, at least for 10, 15 years, we don't have to worry about them going away. Meanwhile, you can become a lawyer, and if you want some good legal advice, just open up ChatGPT and ask a lot of questions, and you can probably get there.
Yeah, exactly. It's changing. I mean, and tech is changing too. Oh my gosh, yes, so much different. And AI is changing, and that's a landscape that is, and we're embracing it. Lighthouse is definitely embracing it. But it's just, it's you either embrace change or you get left behind.
Yeah.
And it's important because these kids, they don't know, like, cell phones like this. To them, a phone is bring it up to your ear. I was making, for those of you that are listening,
Yeah,
little thumb and like a hook 'em horns kind of thing here in Texas. You put that to your ear because it's a receiver. Kids today, they don't have receivers. They have a square box that they use, and that's what they put up their phone. So it's just interesting how, and another thing, I'm a speech therapist, so I'm just like, I notice changes in language. And welcome in. Have you heard that? Welcome in. This is the new welcome. When did that come about? I don't know when welcome in became the new, hey, welcome to the shop. Glad you're here. It's every place I go, it's welcome in. Okay, well, it's fine. It's a nice saying, I guess. But it's change. Again, it's change, right? It's just we've either adapt to the change or we get left behind, for sure. Yeah. So I do want to touch just briefly, if you don't mind, on the fact that you let Lighthouse Therapy LLC, my company that sponsors this, works with you guys. And we started partnering with you guys last year, and I am so grateful, George. I have to, first of all, I say that because anytime someone takes a chance on a company like ours, because we're small. I guess we're not small anymore, but I still feel small. We're family owned, and we're not, we have no investors. So when a school, and you guys are bigger, you guys got a lot of kids. How was that for you? Looking back, what is the biggest value, and why did you decide to go with Lighthouse for your school? Maybe I'm assuming you were involved in that decision.
Yeah.
I guess I should have prepped you for that question, but
And I'm
just
sorry
curious.
if I don't know exactly when we started, but we approach our budget from a standpoint of how can we get the most out of it. My world, when I was superintendent of schools in the San Luis Valley up through 2015 and part of the BOCES, we had all in-person providers as recent as 2015. And I'm sure the pandemic changed things a lot. And when I came into this position 2 years ago, I got a lot of our superintendents coming at us. We would really like to have an in-person individual who can support us. And the fact of the matter is, It's almost impossible to fill a whole staff that way. And so we do have some darn good in-person school psychs. We
Yes,
have
absolutely.
one full-time, two part-time, and now an intern who we're building her up to hopefully eventually take a full-time position. But what's really nice about Lighthouse is then with our extra needs, we can go in and we can tell you what we need, and we can contract those individuals. And we were able to do that with speech language pathologists, with physical therapists, on and on. And so it helps us to fill those gaps around what we could otherwise provide for in our organization. This is the first year I've been part of the renewal of the one cool thing that you guys offer, and it actually works for us because we get state money right up front. We don't have to wait monthly to receive those dollars. We get the federal dollars on reimbursement, and if you can pay right up front, get a pretty good discount, and that matters to an organization. You can save 3 to 5% on your expenses for certain types of employees. Why wouldn't you take advantage of that? So that's fantastic as well. And what we found in the renewal process this year, and I think it's worked this way, and it sure seems to have been something that's been receptive on your end. We had one or two folks who, just like every organization has, wasn't performing well. And so we addressed that directly with you guys.
1,000%.
And you guys jumped right in and supported to either make that person better or ultimately recommend a change so that we were getting the services we need. That's outstanding, and it makes life easier on our end. The other piece, though, is we've had some great people, and we want to keep them. And so we went from the approach this year when we don't know what all we're going to need yet, but let's lock in those people who we love.
Yeah.
And
we have, I think,
said
6
we
or
want to
7
make
of
sure
them.
these
Yeah.
people come back because we're getting good feedback from our district partners that these folks are doing well. And so,
Awesome.
I mean, I feel like if the world were perfect, we would have people knocking down our door, applying for these positions and wanting to do them in person. However, that's not a reality, and so we're getting some people who are willing to do the work, some doing it at a high level, and some we're able to bring back as a result of that, and that's wonderful.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that because, it's one of those things where it's like we have, believe it or not, and I was telling, I was like, when they told you can do anything with statistics. You can play around with numbers. Statistics are it doesn't, any way you want to look at it, if you break the numbers down, you can make them the way you want them to be. But one of the things that I loved, and it is a statistic based on, we had people that we absolutely are not bringing back, and some of them were people that you guys had because they just didn't do as well as we would want them to. And we tried to coach some of them, and some of them we survived the year, but we're like, okay, we're not doing that again next year. Let's get somebody new who can do a better job. Because ultimately for us, and I'm sure this is the same for you guys, we partner with you. It isn't just us coming and dropping a student or a therapist and saying, here you go, I'm good, I'll send you the bill. No, we make sure that we're supporting that therapist and that school because ultimately they come together to serve those children, right? The students are the reason that we do what we do, right? And so we have a 98% retention rate of therapists that come back year over year over year. And I love that because those people, they love what we're doing. We take care of them because our mission is to be a therapy company run by therapists for the betterment of students. Always bringing back, why do we do what we do? To serve kids, to serve students. And so having an opportunity to work with a district that feels the same way and loves the kids and wants what's best for these 14 different schools and trusts us to do that over and over again is a beautiful thing. And I love the fact that we can do that and that you're willing to come in and talk to me about the amazing things that you're doing, but also talk to us about what makes it work. So,
My pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you. So with that in mind, where do people go if they want to learn more about San Luis Valley BOCES? Where do they go?
Yeah, we have a very simple website. It's SLV BOCES, and BOCES is BOCES.org. and you can learn about the organization and how it began, and you can also meet our entire staff through that website, and you can reach out and access us. We have a portal, where you can contact me directly and other employees. Yeah, and it
Awesome.
also will show you who all our partner districts are.
Awesome. Yeah, because there's 14 of them. So
Yep.
thank you so much, George. It has been an absolute pleasure to have this conversation with you, your insight. As the show says, we're brighter together for sure.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.